A single flash lit up the sky over Donetsk, and within seconds, a Russian military headquarters was gone. Screams, fire, bodies buried beneath burning rubble, and above it all, a cold, calculated silence. This wasn't just an attack. It was a message from Ukraine, delivered through a British-made Storm Shadow missile, aimed directly at the heart of Putin's southern command. Dozens of Russian officers are reported dead, and for the first time in months, the world is witnessing the deadly return of Ukraine's long-range precision strikes. So what happened? Who was killed? And why now? Tonight, we break down the shocking details of one of the deadliest airstrikes of 2025. The target, a key military installation just outside Donetsk in Russian-occupied eastern Ukraine. Satellite analysis confirms the site wasn't just a depot or a random building. It was the command headquarters of Russia's 8th Combined Arms Army, one of the most critical coordination centers in the region. This is the nerve center for southern operations, used to plan assaults on Zaporizhzhia, coordinate troop rotations, and manage logistics to Crimea. And now it's just rubble. But this strike was more than just luck. It was surgical. Ukrainian intelligence pinpointed the exact time a group of officers would be meeting inside. Just as they gathered, the storm shadow arrived. This isn't battlefield chaos. It's targeted warfare. The weapon of choice? The Storm Shadow, a long-range, low-flying, radar-evading cruise missile supplied by the UK and France. Once launched from a Ukrainian Su-24 jet, it glides silently across hundreds of kilometers, hugging the Earth to avoid detection, then strikes with devastating precision. Until now, Ukraine had paused its use of Storm Shadows, relying more on drones and HIMARS, but this week marks a chilling shift. For the first time since spring, storm shadows are back in the sky, and Russia is clearly not ready. New satellite photos reveal the aftermath. The structure flattened, flames pouring from the crater, debris scattered for hundreds of meters. Local Russian media attempted to downplay the damage, but emergency broadcasts leaked out. Sirens, fire trucks, panic. Unofficial Russian sources now admit high-ranking officers are among the dead. This wasn't a symbolic strike. It was a decapitation of leadership, a sign that Ukraine is once again reaching deep behind enemy lines and choosing its targets very, very carefully. In part 2, we dive deeper. Who exactly was inside that building when it was hit? What new footage reveals the terrifying moment of impact? And how is the Kremlin reacting to the loss of its top officers? Stay with us. This story is just beginning. When the dust settled, they found boots, crushed radios, scorched identification tags, but the men who wore them? Gone. The strike on Russia's 8th Army HQ didn't just level a building, it wiped out a room full of senior Russian officers in the blink of an eye. Some were preparing briefings, others were asleep in nearby quarters. None of them expected a precision missile to crash through the roof without warning. But it did. Initial estimates suggest between 25 and 35 Russian officers were killed on impact. Among them, reportedly, 2 senior colonels, an intelligence liaison, and at least 1 logistics commander overseeing ammunition flows to the Kherson front. Though the Russian Ministry of Defense has remained silent, leaked radio transmissions, picked up by Western intelligence, reveal chaos, panic, and confusion in the minutes following the explosion. We've lost contact with command post. Casualties confirmed, HQ down, scramble extraction teams now. Ukrainian officials have not released names, but their confidence in the strike's success was clear. It was precise, it was planned, and it was necessary, one senior aide told Reuters anonymously. And as confirmation rolled in, footage followed. In the early hours after the attack, thermal drone footage captured the aftermath. A huge crater where the center of the building once stood, fires erupting from all sides, emergency teams trying, desperately, to dig out survivors, many of whom were likely vaporized on impact. In one frame, you see a Russian officer stumbling outside, clutching his side, his uniform torn, face covered in ash. He collapses just meters from the blast zone. These images are too graphic for broadcast, but they confirm what Ukraine claimed from the start. This was not a scare tactic. This was a clean kill. Based on signal intercepts and open-source tracking, here's what we know. Ukrainian Su-24 took off shortly after midnight. It flew low across Zaporizhzhia airspace, staying below radar. Around 1:40 a.m., the Storm Shadow was released. It flew approximately 190 kilometers undetected and hit the target just before 2 a.m. From launch to impact, just 20 minutes. Not a single warning, no sirens, no interception. In typical fashion, Russian state media initially claimed the explosion was caused by a fuel depot accident, but within hours, that story collapsed. Telegram channels close to Wagner and FSB-linked bloggers were furious. One wrote "Why are our commanders still meeting in predictable buildings? How many more times must we lose them in one strike?" Another message simply read, "We're being hunted." Inside the Kremlin, sources report that senior officials were shocked Ukraine had resumed Storm Shadow strikes. And even more disturbing for Moscow, this strike came without any NATO escalation, which means more could follow. This isn't just about death, it's about fear. Fear that no meeting is safe, no bunker secure, and no rank high enough to be untouchable. In Part 3, we explore how this one strike has shaken the Russian war machine, why Ukraine chose this target now, and what military experts are saying about what's coming next. Don't miss it. Before we continue, if you want real-time updates on strikes, troop movements, and frontline shifts the mainstream media won't cover, hit that subscribe button. We bring you verified war intelligence every single week. Now, let's talk about the impact of this strike. Not just the bodies, but the strategy. Because this wasn't just a missile, it was a message. A message from Ukraine to Russia's generals and to the world. Let's break down the 3 key shifts this attack has triggered in just 48 hours. Within hours of the Donetsk headquarters being destroyed, Russian officers across the front began relocating their command posts. Multiple Ukrainian sources claim that mobile bunkers were moved up to 40 kilometers back from the original line of control, an attempt to stay out of storm shadow range. Some commanders are even refusing to gather in large numbers, fearing another precision strike could come at any moment. Russian intelligence units are now under pressure to uncover how Ukraine gained the exact meeting time and target coordinates. So far, they have no answers. What makes this strike so powerful isn't just the death toll, it's the uncertainty it spreads. Russian soldiers on the ground now know their superiors are vulnerable, that even high-ranking officers can be eliminated without warning. Morale across Russian-occupied zones in Donetsk and Zaporizhzhia has dropped, according to intercepted messages. One soldier reportedly texted, "If they can hit the HQ without being seen, they can hit anywhere." And that's exactly the effect Ukraine wanted. Colonel David Simons, a retired NATO strategist, called this strike one of the most strategically valuable single attacks of the year. He added, "When you remove a node of command, you don't just slow down the enemy, you create a ripple of panic and confusion." Other analysts believe this marks the return of long-range air power in Ukraine's campaign. After months of drone-heavy operations, storm shadows re-enter the battlefield, and Russia must now choose between spreading out its command or risking another decapitation. So what's next? Ukrainian officials have remained tight-lipped, but many believe this is part of a larger summer campaign designed to cripple Russia's ability to coordinate from deep within occupied territory. And now that storm shadows are confirmed back in use, we could see more high-profile strikes in Crimea, Luhansk, and even Belgorod. Each one sending the same chilling message: nowhere is safe. Meanwhile, Moscow is likely to retaliate, not just with airstrikes, but with disinformation, cyber attacks, and escalated assaults on civilian infrastructure. But experts agree Russia was caught off guard, and regaining control won't be easy. This single strike, just one missile, has reshaped Russia's war posture, forced its officers into hiding, and reminded the world that Ukraine is still playing a long game. The war is evolving, the tactics are shifting, and the sky is no longer quiet. If you found this breakdown valuable, subscribe and share it with someone following the war. And let us know in the comments, will Ukraine launch more deep strikes in the coming days?